going to go to a player, but this does involve everybody, man. It involves more than him, but my guy is electric, all right? 15 carries, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 catches, 45 yards, 1 tug. That's 264 total scrimmage yards. Jahmyr Gibbs! Let's keep rolling. Love y'all.
Hey, way to fight, fellas. Way to fight. Use this feeling for the next one. Use it. We know what this one's about. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wait.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. That's right. That was Dan Campbell at the top, giving a game ball to who other than
Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously. Dan Campbell gives him the game ball. Every fantasy manager that didn't have to face him gives him the game ball. He drinks for free at the happy hour today, obviously. Jahmyr Gibbs. I wanted a little behind the scenes for people that don't care. I wanted to wear a Jahmyr Gibbs jersey today. We have 26. We have his jersey from last year. We haven't gotten the Jahmyr Gibbs 0 yet. I thought about it, and then it was just too confusing anyway. So he drinks for free. I'm representing number 9, our MVP, Matthew Stafford. Yes. We'll talk about him in a second. The last thing I just want to say about that opening clip, guys, is that Dan Campbell, super inspiring, right? I want to run through a brick wall. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. I'm ready to bite off some kneecaps, right? Controlled chaos. What is it, Jay, the whole thing?
Yeah, the bite some kneecaps. I can't remember the chaos
opening.
Yeah.
Which he was scolded for, and now the kneecaps have been bitten, and he lost. Yes. He laughs lost.
Yes, exactly. But then, so the voices you heard Dan Campbell inspiring everyone. Jahmyr Gibbs very polite. Hey, thank you to everyone. Love you guys. Let's keep it rolling. And then you heard Jared Goff, poor Jared Goff. Don't follow Dan Campbell.
No,
Jared Goff, but he tried. He's just like, come on, guys.
Oh, no.
We can keep this going.
Wow. You're supposed to be your friend.
I love Jared Goff.
From the Hall of Fame game.
From the Hall of Fame
You
game.
guys were great friends. You're drinking martinis together.
Quickly you
on
turned.
the
No, I'm not.
By the way, you tried to retire this man like a week ago.
I'm not.
You killed Travis Kelce 2 years ago.
Yeah. Stop it. You guys, this is all malfeasance and skullduggery. None of this is true. It's all lies. Fake media over here. Fake news. What I would say is, and by the way, he's going to win the MVP in the Super Bowl, and then he's going to retire. He's going to go off into the sunset. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Never wrong,
Matthew
just early.
Stafford. Yeah. Never wrong, just early. That's 1,000% right, Connor Rogers. What I want to say here, though, is I love Jared Goff. I'm just saying this is my advice to my buddy, my pal, my amigo, Jared Goff. Don't follow Dan Campbell in an inspirational speech.
Yeah, Jared Goff has a bit of a Ryan Gosling and Remember the Titans type of aesthetic and vibe, which is not a great vibe to follow Dan Campbell. No. Also, I'm a big proponent of Jahmyr Gibbs drinking free. He can do whatever he wants. Jonathan Medici, Flex One, Vibes Guy, Jameis, or Dan Campbell. For me, it's Dan Campbell. I get it with Jameis.
It's Dan Campbell. Wow. It depends on what.
I'm
tell you this.
flexing Jameis.
Are you? Here's what I'll say.
We're outside, but we're inside.
Well, I know, but my question is, what are we doing? So if the answer is for Vibes Guy, am I do I need to win a big game? Do I need to get, then it's Dan Campbell. But am I going to the bar and just hanging out? It's Jameis. You know what I mean?
There's definitely situations.
It's a situational vibe.
That's true.
Yeah. Dan Campbell's a cinematic hero. Jameis is like a Curb Your Enthusiasm sketch. It's a little different. I don't know. I'm more of a Dan Campbell.
The roles were almost reversed in that game until the end.
That is the greatest comment you've made in 4 years on this show. I'm just telling you right there. That is unbelievable. You're 1,000% right. Yeah. That's exactly what he's a Curb Your Enthusiasm sketch.
I mean, the pregame speeches are just...
It's just completely insane.
No.
Yeah. Hey, they almost did it. They had no business. They were,
Here's the thing.
12.5-point underdogs?
Also, you don't get to... If you're the Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs, he can do whatever he wants because he was magnificent. Everyone else, I wouldn't be celebrating that hard about needing overtime to beat the Jameis Winston Giants and almost having Wan'Dale Robinson end your season.
Yeah, look, Jahmyr Gibbs, 55.4 fantasy points. It's the most fantasy points that any person has scored this year. He's had 35 or more fantasy points in 3 of the last 5, 145 yards from scrimmage in 4 of the past 5. He's averaging almost 9 yards per touch, Connor. These are video game numbers.
Right. It's ridiculous. It feels like, college back numbers.
And he is going to be a league winner. They do not play a game in bad weather the rest of the way. They're in domes the rest of the way, or in good weather. They're basically the rest of the season. So he is going to be a league winner. They were in comeback mode, so this all worked out. I guess the only thing I can take away from this is Goff is awesome. Amon-Ra. Jameis and Williams didn't do much in this game, and neither did David Montgomery. And are we concerned about those guys just because Sun God's always going to get his. Jared Goff is what he is. He's 250 and 2 touchdowns, and in the right game script, gets you there. But
yep. I understand kind of that they paid David Montgomery as a big part of the team and the culture. Like, why don't they just give Jahmyr Gibbs 20 carries a game until
the
he
shift
breaks?
is here, in my opinion. This is kind of the signal game. To answer your question, Matthew, I'd be very concerned if I have to start David Montgomery because I think this shift is going to be real. With J-Mo, it's like we talk about it every week. This is kind of what you get. It's good to see him more involved in weeks before this. But I think with Montgomery, I have a concern about sustainability going forward. You have to lean into your best player.
Yeah, the 3 guys in the league right now at running back who just look different from everyone else, Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs. And if you've got one of those 3 guys, I mean, Bijan's his own story.
I might throw Devon Achane in there.
Achane does look different.
Yeah.
But he's not.
I mean, it's the team surrounding him. But I'm just saying, like, in open space, he feels different.
Yeah, he doesn't have the, the strength elements that Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, has.
Gibbs is impressive for his size.
Gibbs breaks tackles like a madman.
Yes.
But I don't understand why. With everything, like the team's a little shaky. Like they were very nearly 6-5 after yesterday. But I don't understand why. Like make Jahmyr Gibbs prove that he can't handle 20 carries a game before you start mixing in more David Montgomery.
The only thing I can think of is they play Green Bay. That's the Thanksgiving game. So 3 games. So maybe, you want to rest the legs a little bit as well.
Game.
Montgomery it's a huge game for the division, huge game for the NFC. Can't wait to see that as well. But I mean, feels like a handcuff. I think he's more than a handcuff, but he's touchdown dependent. He's basically a touchdown dependent high-end flex these days, David Montgomery.
Right, I'm trying to come up with the right comp right now. He's like basically...
He's Kareem Hunt on some level.
Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, he's just like sort of like a guy that like isn't going to be involved in the passing game, will get you 10 touches and needs to fall into the end zone to be worth a start. Yeah, basically is what he is. I don't know that there's anything. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 for 149, a receiving touchdown. Just an unbelievable game for the Lions, who had to come back to win this game. I mean, like, the Giants, this drove me crazy. So the Giants finally, after losing this one, finally fire the defensive coordinator. And I didn't understand. Yeah, finally, throw up this tweet. And I've seen this tweet passed around a lot. I saw it from NFL memes. I've seen other people share it as well. Schefter shared it from another account that I don't think originated it. But, so here's the original tweet, at least, that I saw from at NFL_memes, and those guys just crushed. They're hilarious. But the Giants lost all these games. They were with 14 seconds left. They were beating Dallas 37-34. They were up 14-3 on the Saints. They were up 26-8 with 5:19 left to go on the Broncos.
That's the ridiculous.
Well, that was historical.
Yeah.
20-10 with 3:58 to go in the fourth. They were up 20-10 on the Bears.
That one's not great.
Yeah, and with under 11 to go in the fourth quarter against the Lions this past Sunday, they were up 10. So I mean, let's fire the offense coordinator let's fire the Brian Daboll, who fought for and then developed and is the reason you guys have a franchise quarterback. They hired him and not the defense coordinator till now. I don't know what's going on with the Giants. You're a member of the New York media. Explain it.
Not the Giants media. I'm of the proud Jets media. No, but in all seriousness, this is just an organization that's a little bit of a mess right now. There's no way around it.
How does Abdul Qadir have half a sack in 12 games?
And he's lining up offsides.
He's playing every snap.
Awful.
He has half a stack in 12 games.
You could just run at the Giants at will.
Yeah.
So
I don't know who they get next year, but whoever gets the head coaching job of the Giants next year has a very real shot at being coach of the year. Because there's enough stuff here. There's enough stuff here. Where you sitting here, you're seeing they're putting up numbers like Jameis had a monster day here. Wan'Dale Robinson has turned into a legit number 2 wide receiver in the NFL.
Great in this game.
They get Malik Neighbors back next year. They figure out the run game. We'll see what happens with Scadaboo because that was a bad injury. But you've got a franchise quarterback. You've got 2 legit wide receivers.
Tyrone Tracy looks good now.
Yes. And in theory, the defense should be a lot better. So if they get a defensive-minded head coach and keep Kafka as the play caller,
Coach of the Year, Mike McCarthy.
You know what?
Save this, Steven. You'll air it in a year.
No. Jokes aside, I could see that happening.
I'm
not
joking.
I am not a huge Mike McCarthy fan, as you guys know.
That's why
I think no one gets less out of more talent than Mike McCarthy. But is he a professional coach that would, he runs good organizations? Like the Cowboys were basically a top 12. He runs
organizations.
Yeah, no. The Giants would be a lot better under him. Would they ever win a Super Bowl? I doubt it. Again, I don't think he gets enough out of his talent. I'm not a McCarthy fan, but and they shouldn't hire. Well, as a Commanders fan, I would love it if they hired him. Like,
it could happen.
If I were a Giants fan, and I was a couple years ago,
Yes.
I would be wanting to hire from the Mike McDonald tree. I just want brains out of that kind of system and that organization, because I think and maybe or a Chris Schuler type as well, whose stock is rising, but I think Mike McDonald is kind of lapping the field at the moment.
From a fantasy perspective, the big story of this game was actually Jameis and Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah.
We got to hear from Jameis after the game, not on his throwing, but his receiving touchdown.
This is the play of the year.
I like to consider myself an athlete. I believe that I can make plays like that for this team. If I need to play tight end, I can. I do whatever it is that's required for this team to have success. And I'm grateful that Calf gave me an opportunity, and Gunner trusted me he gave me a chance. And sometimes that's all you got to do at the quarterback position, give your guy a chance. You know, Russell Wilson sent me a picture of doing the Heisman in like a little GIF. I think it's called a GIF. And I did the Heisman. And we got in the end zone. We just didn't win, guys. We got to win.
The gloves reveal was actually my favorite part.
The best way I can describe Jameis is that it's like he is about to burst out into laughter at any given moment about what he's saying, but he never does. And it's not a joke.
He's a national treasure that should be protected at all costs. I don't know when his playing career is done, but whenever it is, he's going straight into
Try to
broadcasting.
retire him,
No, I'm not trying to retire him. No, the NFL is more fun. The NFL is more fun with Jameis in it. I'm just saying that whenever it is, hopefully many years from now, whenever it is he decides to hang it up, he will go right into broadcasting and be a massive, massive star.
I don't know if Brian Daboll deserved to get fired or not based on what was going on behind the scenes, but one thing that he got wrong, there's no reason that Russell Wilson should have been
ever started any of these
in the depth chart at any point.
No.
At any point.
You're right.
First quarterback to throw for 300 yards against the Lions this season. His average depth of target was 11. Over 33% of his passes traveled 15 or more air yards. He was flinging it out. He was pure Jameis here. And then Wan'Dale Robinson was the big beneficiary. 9 for 156. He gets the touchdown on 14 targets. 41% target share. It's his fourth straight game with at least a 31% target share. Wan'Dale Robinson is like a borderline wide receiver one the rest of the way, as long as Jameis is starting. And I don't know why he would. I don't know. We'll see with Jackson Dart. But even with Dart back in, I think that Wan'Dale Robinson has just got to be locked in. They're at New England next week. Then they have a bye, home to Washington, home to Minnesota. So it's Wan'Dale's world. We just live in it as well. And you mentioned it. Tyrone Tracy continues to run well. I thought he had a really nice game kind of overall, and feels like he is starting to distance himself from Devin Singletary. He's still probably a low-end running back too because you've got Singletary there, because they don't score. They don't like to run as much. They're with
bombs away.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a fun game. I wish the Giants had won this one. I was rooting for them.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends who were deep in Lions and Survivor pools, which is just terrifying.
Oh, sure.
And even the decision, and it was perhaps the right decision based on what was available, but in Survivor, you don't want to open the Jameis box, because there could be anything in there.
I agree. It's not a great pick.
Probably go against Tyrod Taylor or something, but Jameis Jameis can make every throw, and he's super strong, and he's athletic. It's just that, the internal mechanics aren't there. But
the Giants should have won that game, and that loss is not on Jameis Winston at all.
He was magnificent.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Coach Willis Beard says, please get Jameis on the happy hour. Maybe he'll be at Radio Row.
Open invitation to Jameis Winston anytime he'd like to come be on the happy hour. And you can replace Jay, honestly.
I'll stand down.
Yes.
It'll be the right call for the show.
Yeah.
And then me and you could have a picture with him, and we'll make it our profile picture.
Now we're talking about
Yeah,
that's what we got to do. That's what we have to do at Super Bowl this year, is we have to figure this out. Producer Steven, make a note of this. No guests sit near Jay this year.
No.
Jay is on the end, and we bring the guests.
From them. Like
Jay is away from the guests.
The last time that happened, there was a photo of the two of you and Justin Jefferson, where it looks like
that's a great one.
Where it looks
I
like
love
you
this one.
are the son of Matthew Berry and Justin Jefferson.
It's a great picture.
See, you need me there. Because that won't happen if I'm around.
Nah,
Those ridiculous family photos of Justin Jefferson.
It's one of my favorite pictures from the show.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my gay lover, Justin Jefferson, and our adopted son, Connor. I love a guy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, please.
Oh, dear.
Please. Who wouldn't?
Jay Jettis not coming on the show.
Listen, Justin Jefferson asked, I would be down. Come on, let's be honest. He's Justin Jefferson.
Sure.
Oh, boy. Let's go to Colts. Steven is ushering me to Colts-Chiefs, so I will follow, and why not? Notable fantasy performances from this one. A lot of work for Rashee Rice. A lot of work for Kareem Hunt. The Chiefs actually leaned on the run in this comeback game for the Chiefs that didn't have much going for them in three quarters, in the fourth quarter and overtime. They got it all working. Jay, what happened to your Colts in this one? Why'd Alec Pierce stay?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Connor?
For the boot.
For the boot.
For the sandal.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't great for Alec Pierce. Because you know more about football than me, Connor.
I don't know if that's true.
Can you tell me
it is.
why?
I'll make that judgment.
Why offensive coordinators can't build better cover zero beaters against Spags? Because it seems like he sends the house on every single key third and fourth down in NFL history, and it's like it's powerless. Oh, Daniel Jones got nowhere to go.
I had no idea this was coming.
Yeah.
Right.
It cost the Niners a Super Bowl.
Right. It's on the quarterback to throw it hot and know where to throw into the void. Yeah. And the problem is, for as much as we're like, wow, Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, like this is impressive what they're doing, they don't process all the time against pressures like that. So the great quarterbacks do. That's why they're the great quarterbs. And Spags has gotten away with it for a long time. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So you know what? It's interesting. So I had this take in the preseason, and then I came out where I said basically I don't know why they're starting Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones is fine. He's good. He'll be a good fit for Steichen's offense. But you're never winning a Super Bowl. You'll never win. You'll never win a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones. They should start Anthony Richardson the entire year and just hear what see what he has because it'll either be a disaster, and then you start over next year, or you have your franchise quarterbacks. So that was my take. And then about midway through the season, I said, that's clearly the worst take of all time. I admit it. I apologize to America. Like, I own it. Give me the big L. That terrible take. But now I might be back in on that take. I'm just
full
like,
circle.
no, listen. The Colts have one signature win this year, and that is Denver barely. Right? They haven't beaten anyone real. And this was a test. This is a test against a 5-5 Chiefs team.
Okay.
Hang on.
They should have beaten the Rams. Like, they played the Rams basically to draw if Adonai Mitchell doesn't Adonai Mitchell his way to defeat that. So that was a fine. And also, like, this game, they got outplayed. They went to overtime against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, but the offense was very bad.
Yeah, I mean, they got dominated in time of possession. I think they had 11 penalties. I'm just saying, this was a game where if the Colts wanted to say, hey, man, we're for real. Yeah. This is a game you win. Yeah. They had every opportunity to do so, and they didn't. And it's a lot. They had 0 first downs in the fourth quarter. Like, Daniel Jones just melted down in the fourth quarter and the Super Bowl, in overtime. And I sort of went back to wait, was my take that I disavowed? So should I be back in on that terrible take?
Here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. And I know a lot about my Colts because I watch them every play. I haven't given up on the Colts. We're fine. Come beat Houston this week, get right back on track. Daniel Jones is not physically right in that game. There was something wrong with his gait and the way that he was moving. He was not moving right. He was on the injury report with a calf during the week. He just did not look like the same guy physically to me in that game, and I think that might have rattled him a little bit. Now, it doesn't excuse bad throws that he made, the fact that they couldn't get anything going on offense whatsoever. The Chiefs clearly sold out to stop the run, and if you sell out to stop the run, you should have something in the pass game available, particularly when you have Tyler Warren, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, and Josh Downs, and Jones just wasn't making the throws. He didn't play well, but I wouldn't write them off because of, one bad game against a good team.
I'm not writing, again, we're a fantasy football show, and this is more of an NFL conversation, but I will say from a fantasy perspective, you should, when you have a guy like Jonathan Taylor, and they went away from him, 16 carries for 58 rushing yards, and they went away from him, it felt like in the second half, and I get that they weren't getting anywhere, but think about the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt went 30 for 104. Now, I'm not a math guy. You're a math guy. Is that efficient? 30 carries for 104 yards? It doesn't feel super efficient, but they stuck with it. And I just don't know why when you have Jonathan Taylor and you're on the road, why you don't just stick with it.
With a lead for most of the game.
With a lead for most of the game.
Yeah, Steichen, he's trying to steal yards on first down when the Colts are loading up to stop the run. But it's like, well, you're not getting anything on first down through the air anyway, so maybe just give Jonathan Taylor. And Taylor, he did break one. He broke a 28-yarder down the right sideline, and it did feel like they abandoned him a little bit, certainly. And that's always going to be the criticism when the Colts lose and Taylor doesn't have a big game. Like, why'd you go away from Jonathan Taylor? I'm guessing that's just what the defense showed, and Jones wasn't good enough yesterday.
Right.
Single-digit fantasy points in 2 of the last 3 games for Jonathan Taylor. Home to Houston this week, then at Jacksonville, at Seattle. 2 of the next 3 are Houston and Seattle for Jonathan Taylor. I think if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, who's the number 1 pick in fantasy football, you're drafting the rest of the way. Like if you on guillotine leagues, right? In guillotine leagues, you can draft any week you want for the rest of the year.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
2 weeks ago, what I said is Jonathan Taylor. I think it's clearly Jahmyr Gibbs now as well. There's not a real takeaway because you're still starting Jonathan Taylor, but I would lower expectations here as well. Tough game for Alec Pierce as well. Michael Pittman gets into the end zone as well. But even with his touchdown catch, He's wide receiver 23 as we head into Monday Night Football. Tyler Warren was fine, but not amazing.
Yep.
Like, the whole offense this is a bummer.
Yeah, it was a bad game. I will say the one thing, we'll get to Valiant Vincent's question first. I have beef with Jay Croucher. All right, here we go. I started Alec Pierce over Jacoby Myers, and while it didn't cost me my matchup right now, I let that cunning Aussie hype me up too much.
Yeah, that's right. You are a cunning Aussie.
That was the right call. By the way, there was Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. He referenced Tyrese Proctor, an Australian player, as being Aussie tough. No one's ever referred to me as Aussie tough.
No.
My entire life.
Yeah.
I've been
You're
Aussie soft.
weak.
Yeah,
Aussie soft.
Yeah,
Aussie soft.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
But I will say this, Jay. You know me. I have fondness for Australia. Obviously,
Sure.
I love kangaroos. I'm the co-author of Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
That is true.
This is true. So I have a
hate Paul
fondness
Hogan.
in my heart for Australia. Just not all Australians. Like
Yes.
not the biggest fan of Paul Hogan, and but I will say this.
My favorite rivalry.
And you hate Nicole Kidman. You hate her.
Wow.
No. But Kate Blanchett should never come near me.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to come up with another Australian. Here's what I want to say. I want to just say this. I want to say this about Australia. The fact that you are soft is not because you're from Australia.
Yes.
I mean, just
Right.
like
Yeah, it's
for
true. It's
people
just
calling you a
not a
soft
representation
Aussie,
of the
it's
country.
unfair.
Just
It's
soft,
you're just soft in general.
Soft independence.
Oh, no. That's a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll keep us going while
The ghost of
Matthew
Australia.
cleans up the mess.
Go to a single shot of Jay
God,
for the
the
love of
show's
God while I
ruined.
clean this up.
There
There we
no
go.
fantasy performances for Cowboys, Eagles, destruction
My
everywhere. Oh, it's sticky soda.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Jalen Hurts with over 30 fantasy points. George Pickens goes nuclear. What a contract year he has, as the chat calls you the spiller.
Yeah, the
yes,
spiller.
CJ.
There's no
CJ
question.
Spiller.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ankles
CJ
clean.
Spiller's right.
Ankles are still clean.
Oh my goodness.
That's what you get for
my
tarnishing
goodness.
Kate Blanchett's
Yeah,
good name.
that's right. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
get.
that's karma.
Yeah, it's totally right.
What a comeback it was for the Cowboys. The Eagles got out early, 21-0, and then the Cowboys really floored it in the second half. I mean, Jay, are we living in a world where George Pickens is the wide receiver one in Dallas right now? He looks a lot more confident than CeeDee Lamb at the moment.
The spiller from Stuntman Chuck 85.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean,
Let's be clear. We're going to see that again. We'll see that clip again. I'm almost positive that's Adam's going to use that as the open tomorrow, which is
As he
great.
should.
Can't wait to see that. As
Content
well.
over
here you go,
cleanliness.
Matthew. You can have my notes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
I saved
that.
your iPad.
Oh, thank you. You're the best.
I mean, who's been
And
better?
Kevin's the best too. Kevin over here helping clean up my.
Who's been a better wide receiver this year than George Pickens outside of JSN and maybe Puka Nacua?
The fact that
Is he third?
Right.
He's third. It's
It
unbelievable.
feels like every time the ball's in the air and he's the target, he was 4 for 4 on contested catches yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone from playing in a cold weather city with very suspect quarterback play to playing in a dome with an elite quarterback now in Dak Prescott. And I didn't know that the Cowboys offense had this performance in them. Like, why did they struggle so much relatively against the Cardinals and then can just light up the Eagles defense in the second half? But yeah, I don't think there's that many takeaways outside of the fact that George Pickens is an absolute monster and
man.
he's a legit wide receiver one. CeeDee Lamb, I still think going forward, I'd still project him as the better guy in the Dallas pass game. And his game yesterday was tarnished by those drops, particularly in the end zone. But yeah, this is an elite offense. And you're starting Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson every week, and Javonte.
Got a question.
Scott McClory, 8312. Barry was doing his best CeeDee Lamb impression.
Nice.
Well done, sir. It was a bunch of drops, a bunch of spills. So people that are just listening here, I actually had two cups of beverages and because I talk with my arms, and while I was sitting there, this is karma, because while I was sitting there making fun of Jay, calling him soft.
Yes, and
I
Kate
managed
Blanchett.
to- And
The
Kate
peanut
Blanchett. And Kate Blanchett, the beloved, beloved princess Kate Blanchett. I spilled literally liquid all over myself. I'm now sitting in a she's America's sweetheart, right? But even though she's not American, Australian sweetheart, Kate Blanchett, great actress, not American. And what I'm going to say,
What are you talking
I'm
about?
currently sitting in a chair that is soaked. And so I had, anyway, there's liquid all over. My notes are crazy. We didn't even get to talk about Kareem Hunt, who's the 15th best running back in fantasy on a points per game basis since week number 8, giving you consistency there. He gets in the end zone. I don't know that there's much else to talk about the Chiefs, because I know we're on to the Cowboys.
Yeah, we for a long
left that
time.
game on.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to
We're
wrap
actually
that
almost
up.
done with the Cowboys.
Yeah. Colts-Chiefs is in a pool of Diet Coke somewhere. We've
I mean,
moved
like,
on.
I don't know that they play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys do, so it sort of works out right here. But is there I'm trying to think, is there a free agent move, an off-season move that was more impactful maybe than George Pickens to the Cowboys?
Is Jerry Jones a genius?
I don't know.
I'm slightly kidding.
Slightly kidding.
The
but
Seahawks signed Sam Darnold and might make the Super Bowl. So I think that's probably number one because he's a quarterback.
Right.
And also, I know we've just written him off and you want him benched for Anthony Richardson, but Daniel Jones is still a fantastic free agent signing for the Colts.
Right.
But George
Also
Pickens, outside of the quarterback position, he has to be the number one.
I mean, it revived
Micah Parsons was pretty big as well.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, right. But completely Pickens. It turned Pickens' career around, and it has made Dak look as good as he's ever looked. I mean, Dak is playing at an elite level right here, and so
I'm getting you a new chair.
and we're getting a new chair for me because this one's all so.
I don't think you deserve it.
I don't.
I think you should have to sit in the Diet Coke chair.
I probably should.
You know, it's funny, when I got to work today, I saw Kevin, our stage director, very early, and I said, Kevin, are you slumming it with us today? And he's always in a good mood. He was excited for the show. But now I look back at it, like I was dead serious. Like he has to work 3 times as hard on this show. That's a horrific sound.
And now I can, stuntman Chuck Berry can still absorb the Diet Coke by sitting in it. That is what I am.
Does it make you stronger?
I have Diet Coke ass right now, America. That's what I do have. It's unbelievable.
God, it show's doomed.
Yeah. You know what?
I remember having to give my 1-year-old baby medicine that way once.
Yeah.
You have to ingest. Yeah, that way.
Look, the important part is that it's
I want to go home.
whether it goes through my mouth or just seeps in my pores. The important part is that I have that beautiful liquid coursing through my body at all times.
Yep, that's an image.
Desperate for it. Yeah, you're right. I apologize to America. I apologize to the good people at Diet Coke who don't want to be associated with me, I'm sure. And I apologize to Kate Blanchett,
who got roped into this inexplicably.
And Matthew Stafford, by the way, our MVP, who's going to be like, really? Like, why are you wearing 9 when you do this, you moron, you jabroni?
That's all right. I'll text Kate. There's an Australian text chain that
Is
has
there?
everyone in Australia.
Aaron Cashman in the chat goes, wow, this show is chaos. First time here?
Saquon Barkley, anyway.
Sure.
Panic levels sky high. He doesn't, one, they haven't been able to block for him all year. 2, he doesn't look like the same guy. He gets into space and it's like, last year you would take that 60 yards to the house. Now you just get tackled or you fumble and cost the team the game. So very strange year for Saquon, and I'm not sure it's going to get materially better.
Yeah, I mean, look, first off, I just want to give one shout before we move off the Cowboys entirely. I know you're trying to, but
you're consistently one team behind us right now, which is making for a great run.
Well, that's because I'm
okay.
I'm literally
not mad about
I'm literally soaked in Diet Coke right now, and I'm bamboozled and flustered.
But well caffeinated.
Damn right I am. Look, no, I just wanted to say real quickly that we talked about. I don't think Jerry Jones is a genius, but I also think.
Me neither.
But I also think that he gets more grief than maybe he should.
Right.
Since they traded for Quinnen Williams, they're the second best run defense in the NFL. They are second in pressure rate. Now, one of those games was against the Raiders, so
Right.
But they shut down. Saquon Barkley averaged 2.2 yards per carry.
Yeah.
I think. It was a weird game because both the Cowboys and Eagles were like, no, you win it. No, you win it.
Yeah.
And they both tried to sort of lose it here. But Saquon Barkley specifically, Jay, just to get back to what you were bringing up, since week 6, he's running back 16 on a points per game basis. He's been under 14 fantasy points in 5 of the past 6 games. He's averaging 3.3 yards per carry in 4 of the past 5. For the entire season, you think about last year, when you think about Saquon Barkley last year, breaking those huge runs, this kind of stuff we're seeing Jahmyr Gibbs do this year. Well, he's done that twice this year. He's got 2 runs of 20 yards or more this entire season, Jay. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is, but it's so frustrating. But, I feel like they're the worst 8-3 team in football.
It does feel,
you know what I mean? They're great, but, it just.
Well, the problem is the Broncos are 9-2. I think they're better than the Broncos.
8-3.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But. No, I think it's just a combination of things. Here's the main thing, though. Saquon Barkley had almost 500 touches last year. Running backs he took a lot of punishment last year.
Right.
He's inching towards 30.
Played extra games.
Yeah, extra game. Lane Johnson's missing. It's just a combination of factors. And I think also teams have decided, and it's really started with Spags in the Super Bowl, being like, we're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. Jalen Hurts, you're going to have to beat us through the air. This pass game's going to have to beat us, and it hasn't been able to.
But I agree with you, Jay, that he doesn't have the same unique explosiveness that we're used to. right now.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a positive here, it's that the rushing that Saquon isn't getting, Jalen Hurts is getting.
Yep.
54% of his points in the last 2 games are from rushing. You know, he 7 for 33 in this one. Obviously, he gets the tush-push touchdown as well. Ultimately, 2 rushing touchdowns. And A.J. Brown, another nice game here. It was good to at least see the wide receivers start getting going. I don't understand how, you know, Davante Smith couldn't catch one pass. You know, Jameis and Wan'Dale Robinson line up the Lions, but Davante Smith last week couldn't get anything. I'm still bitter about that. Weird, though, by the way, A.J. Brown had all this production in the first quarter, doesn't catch another pass until the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Like, they just went away from the
Yep.
The offense feels a little bit like a mess, but for our purposes, you're starting all the usual guys here. It was a weird one. It's a weird one. Am I crazy if I rank George Pickens over CeeDee Lamb next week?
No, it was kind of the crux of our
I
comment.
think it's crazy. I still think default to Lamb because he's not going to, you know, what did he catch, like 4 out of 11 targets at one point yesterday?
Yeah. He had
I
a tough day
still
at the
think,
office.
but I mean, it's close. It's definitely close.
The fact that it's a question tells you,
Yeah.
tells you something.
Pickens has been unbelievable. Speaking of questions, we have another one here from Johnny Dangerly. Is Barkley a buy low before the trade deadline?
The only reason why is that the schedule does
schedule
line
gets-
up.
okay.
They get the Bears on Friday.
They get the
Speaking of
Commanders
8-win
twice.
teams,
They haven't
by the
played.
way.
Yeah, true.
They
Yeah,
haven't played the Commanders
Eagles
yet.
are a lot better than the Bears, and they're 7-point favorites in that game. 2 against the Commanders. They have the Raiders as well, which is handy.
The Raiders are like the bingo space of the NFL right now.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're their
the-
next 4
only the
games.
Titans are worse.
Yeah, their next 4 games are Bears at Chargers, home to the Raiders, at the Commanders.
Pretty good.
So,
and also,
yeah.
like, the hard game left for them is against the Bills, who can't stop the
Defend
run.
the run.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's exactly
So
right.
yes, I do think so on Saquon. We talked about it last week on Keep It Open, Close It Out during Blind Date about how Barkley just has one of the best schedules remaining. You see it there on your screen, yeah, and then Week 17 for the fantasy title in most leagues, he's going to be at the Bills. So nice opportunity there for Saquon Barkley.
All right, our next game, the Seahawks take care of business against a plucky Titans effort. A lot of points scored in this game. I thought Cam Ward played really good in this game. But before we get to that, guys, the story of the fantasy season is Jaxon Smith-Njigba over 37 fantasy points yesterday, Matthew. He is currently on pace to break Calvin Johnson's single-season receiving yards record.
Yeah, there's not much to say other than, like, he's the number 1 wide receiver. It's unbelievable. 7th straight game with 20 or more fantasy points. It's tied for the longest such streak by a player so far this season. He's averaging 119 yards a game. Like, that's his average. You know, like, averaging 119 receiving yards per game. I think he gets to 2,000. I think he becomes the first wide receiver. Just Darnold is locked in. It's crazy to me that they don't, like, I don't know if are they bracketing him and is this not working? Like, I don't understand, like,
For this to happen
triple team
every
him.
week. There's
every
been
week.
one down week. That's what's nuts about it.
Yeah.
It's every week he gets his.
Yeah, it reminds me of Cooper Kupp in 2021, but the thing is like Kupp was playing like a ton in the slot and moving around all the formation, and also like for a time they had like Robert Woods when he was good, and then they had Odell Beckham the second half of the season. Like there were guys to take attention off of Cooper Kupp. I don't really get it either, but I think that JSN, his route running is so pristine, his balance is like unparalleled, and then just like nothing comes off his hands. Like he is just, it's insane. To me, the crazy thing is like the deep ball and the contested ball stuff, because he's not like, doesn't look like
He's not
Randy
Calvin
Moss.
Johnson or Randy, like he's not like this 6'4" guy that you can just
average
out
size
jump
receiver.
He just overcomes it with timing and balance. He's always on balance is the thing that stands out the most.
Yeah.
See his route chart here from Next Gen Stats. He's been doing a little bit of everything at all 3 levels of the field. There's no reason to think JSN is going to slow down anytime soon. And on the Titans side, though, this was an interesting game, guys, because I think it's the
I also
best.
just want to mention Ken Walker played 61% of the snaps. That's a season high. His snap share has increased each of the past 3 weeks. Charbonnet gets the touchdown, super annoying, but it just
Same thing
does
every week.
right. But it does feel like at least you're starting to feel better about Walker's usage as it continues to increase. He continues to separate a little bit from Charbonnet to be the lead back of the Seattle Seahawks. I agree with you on this one, though. This is the best I've seen Cam Ward look this year.
You saw some of the unique plays off script that he had in college come into this game. He goes into Monday Night Football as a top 5 quarterback on the weekend. He's QB4 with 24 points. He got running a little bit, got in the end zone on a rushing touchdown, Jay. He doesn't have a lot to work with, although Chimere Dike has been a really nice second half of the season story. But Cam Ward is better than what this situation has allowed him to show.
Yeah, definitely. I think it started against Houston the week before.
Right, it's a couple weeks now.
He needed to march down the field with 2 minutes left and score a touchdown against the Texans to unfortunately cover +5.5, but also to tie the game up, and he did it. And he had a huge third down conversion to Chigakonkwo, which is a perfect throw. He looks more comfortable. This is what happens with rookie quarterbacks as well. You get to the second half of the season, he's coming off of a bye as well, new head coach. He seems to be coming much more into his own, and we'll see if they get him some real receivers next year, then he can continue to trend up.
DK on Fantasy Football pregame was my desperation play. Works out 18% target share. He's had at least a 90% route participation in each of his last 3 healthy games. He's a top 10 wide receiver heading in to Monday Night Football. Of course, he had the special teams touchdown, which helps, but still, it was very solid. Yes, good call that ended up working out. Titans, by the way, play the Jags next. At Cleveland, you don't love, but at San Francisco after that. So to the next 3 for the Titans. Cam Ward, you can see, is potentially a streamer getting into the playoffs. Let's talk about those Jaguars here. Another bad game for
Trevor.
You know what's weird is the Trevor, 17.1 fantasy points. So he's a top 10 quarterback as we head into Monday Night Football. He had the 3 passing touchdowns, but just whatever, 4 turnovers. It was a good fantasy day and a bad NFL day.
Without a doubt, just mistakes. I mean, the fact Jacksonville was in an overtime game and really fighting for their life at the end of regulation against Arizona right now. Jacksonville's one of the most bipolar, high variance kind of teams in the NFL this year.
They are, but the issue is that all the outside of the Chiefs game, which they shouldn't have won, outside of that, their high points are coming up against the Raiders and the Cardinals, and they're losing games. They're blowing 18-point leads to Davis Mills. I don't think this is a particularly good team, even though they're 7-4, and they're about to probably be 8-4 because they play the Titans.
Yeah.
But then they still got to play the Colts twice, and I think that justice will be served to them there in the AFC South as the Colts take control of the division. But for our purposes, Jacoby Myers looks good and has a rapport with Trevor Lawrence. And the good thing with Trevor as well is that his moments of madness, they're like interception touchdowns and stuff. So you get the ball back and you're playing in high-scoring games. So the chaos does lead to fantasy production.
Yeah. We thought it would take a little while for Jacoby Myers to get acclimated, but 91% route participation in this one. He's 23% target share over the last 2 weeks. Should have been started over Alec Pierce, you cunning Aussie. But also, how about my guy Parker Washington, who now has 17 or more fantasy points in 3 of the past 4 games, makes a great touchdown grab. For a guy that's that size,
good.
I mean,
he's been good.
They look for him in the red zone as well. Brenton Strange came back tight end 4 in utilization game in utilization score in week 12. Lord. Had 93 receiving yards here. Of course, no Brian Thomas Jr. will be back, but suddenly, I'm sure we will talk about Brenton Strange more tomorrow on the waiver wire show. But just nice to see. My toast for Fantasy Football pregame, though, by the way, Connor, was to Jacoby Brissett, who understands the assignment.
Mr. Completions, Jacoby Brissett. Got a little banged up in this one at one point, but Michael Wilson with no Marvin Harrison, wide receiver 1 status right now, almost 22 fantasy points. Jay almost won them the game at the end, single-handedly.
Yeah, he did. And I think he will still retain some value when Marvin Harrison comes back because they're throwing the ball so much, and it seems like it's going to be Jacoby for the foreseeable.
Back-to-back games with a team-high 32% target share. There's been 3 wide receivers this year that have had multiple games of at least 10 receptions and at least 100 yards. Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and Michael Wilson, who apparently is one of the greatest wide receivers in the NFL. We just did not know until the last 2 weeks.
Scott McClory said, if Wilson is scoring this much, why can't MHJ?
It's maddening, and it makes no sense.
He was definitely better with Brissett, though, than Kyler.
Correct.
It felt like things were starting to turn, and then this.
Then he got
story of Marvin Harrison.
Right, really.
Guy starts setting completion records, and he's on the shelf.
Right. I think that's a better, right, because, again, it's too small a sample size. I think that's a Kyler Murray question, not a Marvin Harrison Jr. question.
Agreed.
So, it's a great point. All right, let's take a look at the Week 12 injuries we're going to be watching. Of course, Baker Mayfield on Sunday Night Football got hurt going into the half with his non-throwing shoulder. Ashton Jeanty with an ankle. Alvin Kamara left the game and did not return with a knee injury. T. Higgins left the game with a concussion.
That was bad.
Yeah,
that one looks bad.
Not good. Rashee Rice with a hamstring. DK Metcalf with an ankle, and Michael Mayer with an ankle as well.
He came back after but he just looked like he was sort of limping through, although he had the big play at the end. That Rice is one to watch as well, but I can't imagine. Higgins the Bengals play Thursday night. I cannot imagine Higgins is playing Thursday
I don't think
night.
we've ever had a player clear protocol on a short week.
No, that was a scary hit.
Jamar
He
Chase
was down
will be
for a
back.
while.
Yeah.
Baker, at least it's his non-throwing shoulder, so we'll see how that plays out.
Baker might chop his arm off to play.
I agree. I was going to say, he probably didn't come back because of the lead.
Yes.
I think he would have played through the non-throwing shoulder sprain. It's not pretty, but...
It's encouraging to me that he did the injury, was able to come back in, and then left after that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the Bucs are being careful. Join in the Thanksgiving tradition, the National Dog Show, presented by Purina. Airs at noon on NBC as nearly 2,000 of the top dogs in the country compete for the title of Best in Show.
The Chihuahua does not win. I'm just letting you know that. I got some inside dirt.
I like that.
If anyone wants
for
to bet.
all you betting folks, Jay.
Yeah.
We're going to take our first break. When we're back, Weekend Warriors Sunday Scaries after this.
Another guy that came in had 28 carries, 107 yards. Appreciate it for the opportunity, man. Let's get ready. Family at 3, 1, 2, 3.
Weekend Warriors. Of course, that was the Packers locker room celebration. Emanuel Wilson tops the list here, 28 carries. Then if Packers are going to do anything, they're going to establish it. 107 yards, and most importantly, Matthew, the 2 scores.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. One of them was, kind of a bunny thing, but career high 30 touches, got 77% of the team's running back touches in a tough matchup here. Emanuel Wilson, we expect Josh Jacobs back this week. Obviously, it's a short week, but if Jacobs can't go, Emanuel Wilson proves that, he was the guy. So he's one of the reasons why we talked about last Tuesday, he is the waiver pickup of the week. You can start him. I think I had him at running back 13 this week. As we head into Monday Night Football, he's running back 2 on a points-per-game basis. Turns out I was high on him and not high enough.
Indeed. Also, America's national nightmare is cured. The Packers finally took care of business against a team they're better than. It wasn't a close game in the fourth quarter against the Panthers or the Browns or the Bengals. They finally just blew a team out. Yeah, the JJ effect.
Are you finally out on Jordan Love, though?
No, he was very efficient in his game. He just didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he's just not a good fantasy option.
Yeah.
He's a better real-life quarterback.
Yeah. He's an EPA machine.
Speaking of American nightmares, Ashton Jeanty with a good fantasy today.
Yes,
everybody
for
relax.
sure.
Not on the ground.
No.
Chip Kelly, by the way, fired last night. But 8 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown, Jay, is what gets it done for Jeanty.
Yeah, I mean, it's volume, and that's all that's really going to do it for him at the moment because that offense, that team is just completely broken. Now maybe with Chip gone, something can change, but I don't think anything's really changing with the offensive line or with Geno. So Ashton Jeanty, good fantasy day, bad day overall football-wise, and the team's a mess.
The Raiders don't have a lot to bank on, but look, again, it's the Josie theory. Get the ball to your best player. 25 touches for Ashton Jeanty last week on Sunday. That was a season high. He's now had 18 or more touches in 6 of the past 8 games. You figure that whoever is replacing Chip Kelly says, all right, let's just figure out a way to get the ball in Jeanty's hands.
The Browns, by the way, the most relevant 3-8 team in NFL history. Myles Garrett chasing the sack record, Carson Schlesinger, D-Roy favorite, and Shedeur Sanders is a national story.
Our next one, Derrick Henry, Matthew, really just because of the touchdowns. 21 carries, 64 yards, but he got in the end zone twice on a sluggish day for the Ravens offense.
First time this season with back-to-back 20-point games for Derrick Henry. We've talked about his schedule quite a lot. Bengals next, then the Steelers at Cincinnati again. So Cincinnati 2 of the next 3. So King Henry, if you've stuck with him. But yeah, it was ugly. Without the touchdowns, he's just nothing.
Also,
the whole Ravens offense, we'll talk about Lamar in a second. It's
why is King Henry averaging 3 yards a carry
It's unbelievable.
against the Jets? It took over 85.5 rushing yards. You told me he gets 21 carries against the Jets. I'd assume he sails over by 40 yards.
He
and
had
no efficiency.
He had a big one towards the end of the game. Before that, he was in the 30-something yards. It was
Jets were playing tough.
Yep.
They showed some heart out there.
Yeah. Welcome back, Hunter Henry, the king of the waiver wires. Caught 7 of 10 targets for 115 yards and a touchdown. As you said, Matthew, start the tight ends against the Bengals. They're the worst defense against tight ends in the league.
First time scoring double-digit fantasy points since week 4. I think this is hey, we thought he'd be good against the Bengals. He was good against the Bengals. He can go back to your bench or waiver wire. Yeah.
Yep. Caleb Williams and DJ Moore, Jay. Caleb Williams much better in the second half than the first half for DJ Moore. caught 5 of 7 targets, and he had 2 touchdowns.
Such a strange team. Caleb's stats great overall, but also goes like 19 for 35 against not a great pass defense. DJ Moore finally awakens. The Bears are kind of a version of the Patriots where they have all these guys, but you just don't know any idea. There's no rhyme or reason week to week. Dunze, Moore, backfield mess.
Yeah.
I just don't have a great feel for this team.
DeAndre Swift had a bad fumble in this game, and Kyle Monange took over the backfield from that time. We'll talk about him more tomorrow, I'm sure, as well. But I think there might be a changing of the guard. We'll see if that was just sort of a one-time, hey, you fumbled, we're going to play the rookie, or it's just like, you know what, Monange's given him kind of a spark ever since he's gotten an opportunity. He gets into the end zone as well. But Caleb continues to put up fantasy points. It's ugly. The fumble was brutal, but they end up with a win over the Steelers.
We're going to learn a lot about Caleb in this offense next 2 weeks. Eagles and Packers both on the road.
Right, correct.
They may not have played a good defense really outside of the Vikings all year.
And then home to Cleveland, and then home to the Packers again.
Yeah.
So the next 4 is an unbelievable stretch, a tough one there
Great
for the
team.
Bears.
So we're there.
And DJ Moore, 23% target share. There's a season high. Only his 3rd game this year with a more than 20% target share, but quietly 22 or more fantasy points in 2 of the last 4 for DJ Moore. Finally getting into that wide receiver 3 status that we thought he could be.
Yep.
Our last weekend warrior, Matthew, Davante Adams, all he does is catch touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5th straight game with a touchdown. He's got 9 total touchdowns in the stretch, 11 end zone targets the last 5. I don't know if you saw it, but Jason Garrett interviewed Matthew Stafford, and he just, before the game on Football Night in America, and Stafford was just like, when they came to Davante Adams, he just said, his red zone ability is like nothing I've ever seen. It was just,
it's
it was the 1st and goal in the 2, and I'm like, oh, they're giving it to Kyren Williams, because I had a Matthew Stafford as part of my parlay, was 2 touchdowns for Stafford. It's like, nope. Quick little fade to Davante Adams, boom, touchdown.
It is crazy how the fade pass to Davante at the goal line is literally their version of the tush push.
Yeah.
Sunday's Scaries headlined, as you hinted, Matthew, by Lamar Jackson. Jay, not much going for the air for Lamar, and more importantly for fantasy, he's not as willing and eager to run like we're used to. He just doesn't look nearly 100%.
Basically, ever since week 1 against the Bills, he's looked like a shadow of himself. Physically, his passing is off. Everything just seems off with this offense. Like, why is this a game at home against the Jets in the 4th quarter? Like, they just couldn't get anything going. And Lamar, I mean, you still obviously have to start Lamar, but this has been maybe the worst 2-week stretch of his career.
Since week 10. He's QB 26 on a points per game basis. He's had under 15 rushing yards in 3 of the 4 games since returning. He's not running. Yeah. I don't know if he's right or not. It's the first time in his career with 0 touchdowns in back-to-back games. Now, you're starting him this week because they play Cincinnati. They're home to Cincinnati. And that's the thing that we just talked about with Derrick Henry. Cincinnati, home to Cincinnati, home to Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati, home to New England. But I'm just like, he'll probably be back to Lamar on Thursday night. Kevin, go ahead and come in here. Poor Kevin is just like me. Thank you very much. Here's Kevin, our stage manager. Unbelievable. Thank you. God bless. I'll try not to spill this as well. Kevin is he saw me talking about Lamar Jackson. He's like, you know who else needs help? Barry. You know, exactly.
Right.
It's the
Not
two
at
of
full
us.
strength,
Two of us struggling.
He did the hamstring 2 months ago. Like, why isn't it? I don't know. It's very strange with Lamar.
Yeah, he's not his full self.
And it's affecting everything. I mean, that offense, they should have killed the Jets, and they didn't.
Speaking of affecting everything, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. A nice goose egg for Addison through the air. No receptions. Justin Jefferson caught 4 for 48.
Yep.
I mean,
you still have to start Justin Jefferson because he's Justin Jefferson.
You don't feel great.
Yeah, I don't think you don't start any other Viking. And JJ McCarthy. I don't know.
In the 6 games with JJ McCarthy, he's averaging under 12 fantasy points per game. He's been under 50 receiving yards in 4 of the 6 games. He's got only 2 receiving touchdowns on the season. As we head into Monday Night Football, Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 35 on the week, and next week they're at Seattle. Does JJ McCarthy start at Seattle?
He does. But they're going to acquire some kind of significant veteran help this offseason. They have to.
No, but this is a debate we had in the room, and I know we got to move on very quickly.
Go to Max Brosmer?
Yes, what's worse for J.J. McCarthy, going to Seattle and getting his ass kicked again, or being benched for Max Brosmer before they go to Seattle?
I don't think it matters, to be honest. I don't think he's the guy.
It's pretty bad. I mean, Jordan Addison, wide receiver 90. 1 target, 0 reception. I mean, like, Jordan Addison you can't use any of them as well. Tough game for Kyren Williams. We just talked about this. Like, again, they got in close. They did whatever they wanted. I felt like this is more game script. Again, we know Tampa Bay has a good run defense and a bad secondary, and just Stafford was doing whatever he could. MVP candidate Stafford. If I wind up holding on to beat Roto Pat in our league, it is thanks to number 9, who had a big game for me.
to win MVP. Minus 210.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Emeka Egbuka and Stephon Diggs, wide receivers on this list, Jay, neither gets at 35 yards.
Yeah, Mekabuka really struggling. Seems against man coverage. He's 5 of his past 6 games. He's basically done not much at all. Stephon Diggs, again, a victim of that Patriots offense that week to week just seems to rapidly change. And then we spoke about DeAndre Swift, 8 carries for 15 yards, 1 catch for 14 yards. Very inconsistent usage in that offense.
Monongai out-snapped DeAndre Swift 5-1 in the red zone after the fumble. Things will get better for Ibuka and Diggs, I believe. Arizona next up for Tampa Bay. New England plays the Giants. Obviously, Baker Mayfield's injury affected Ibuka as well. I'm having patience with Ibuka and Diggs. I'm a little nervous about DeAndre Swift.
We're taking one more break. When we're back, it's last call. We got our Monday Night Football preview for Niners-Panthers right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
The crown is yours.
Time for last call. We got Monday Night Football on deck. Here's the most bet player props. The public is loving that Christian McCaffrey receiving yard alt line of 25+ for a sweet,
minus
sweet
275
score of minus 435. Jay, what do you got for us?
Okay, I'm going to be a little bit more adventurous than that. I'm going to take Teteroa McMillan over 66.5 receiving yards. He's had 20 targets across the past 2 weeks. He went 8 for 130 last week. They're moving around the formation more, using more on the slot. And also, Niners can't get pressure, so they have no edge rushing people left on the team. So I think Bryce Young will have time, and he'll be able to feed the new offensive rookie of the year favorite, Teteroa McMillan.
What about you, Matthew?
Give me Juwan Jennings over 46.5 receiving yards. Like, he's gone over this number each of the last 2 weeks as well. I don't think Carolina will be able to get this is their different offense under Brock Purdy. So, yeah, Juwan Jennings, this feels like too low a number for me, 46.5 for the number 1 wide receiver on a good passing offense with Brock Purdy.
Yep, and as you said in ad break, you believe in Juwan Jennings,
I do
much like Father Christmas.
I do believe in Juwan Jennings. I think he's their best wide receiver. I know Ricky Pearsall's back, obviously, and you like George Kittle.
Yeah, I believe in George Kittle. 15 catches over the last 2 games. His receptions number is set at 4.5, so I like the over on that tonight. The connection between him and Purdy's great. Panthers, good defense, but actually a bottom 10 defense against tight ends.
Yeah, I like all those plays as well. You see here, we think Brock Purdy has a big game here. Obviously, you're starting McCaffrey and Dowdle. We have T-Mac at wide receiver 12, but you see it right there. I put it where Juwan Jennings at wide receiver 20. Pearsall should be more involved tonight at wide receiver 31. And obviously, Kittle's the top 3 play. Jalen Coker. Now, Dr. Denny Carter mentioned him as his flexual frustration. Jalen Coker. Cokeheads unite. They're bad against the slot. The Niners are bad against the slot. So it'll be interesting to see if Jalen Coker can take advantage tonight.
Yeah, big game. You might have to bump him up your rankings.
Look at this. Look at it.
Look, there you go. There it is. Here's a replay.
Look at the sheer panic on my face.
Here's the rep. That's stupid Dev.
No.
This is that stupid Dev's X. If anyone wants to follow him as well.
Emmy Award
That's really
winning.
well done. Emmy Award winning stupid Dev.
More than I have.
Unbelievable. Look at that. You can't play it enough. Good Lord. I'm a moron. It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. For Jay and Connor and Stupid Dev, I'm Matthew. I'm going to go clean myself up. Peace out. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Rotoworld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.